Hi, welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James here. I'm going to be explaining how to play this game called the Amberden Affair. It's put out by Michael and Kelsey Dominy, and it plays 3 to 6 players in about an hour, 12 years and up. You are domestic servants, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to complete orders. You're taking orders from the head butler, and you're trying to complete them. But one of you is a miscreant servant, a miscreant, and he is trying to actually poison 3 dignitaries that are in the game: the governor's wife, the general, and the baron. So you are actually trying to complete your orders while you're trying to watch the other players in the game to try to figure out who it is that's trying to poison the other dignitaries. So play is simultaneous in this game. You get points when you complete orders for items and deliver them while watching the other players. And so since play is simultaneous, you are conflicted on, trying to do your things while you're trying to watch the other players. So here's the setup. Each of you takes a starting token. You take 3 rumor markers for the same color of the player that you're taking. You put those in the middle. You just keep these by yourself. You've got 10 time markers here. You put that in the time remaining. You'll notice all these cards have a place in the lower left hand corner, and so that's where those cards belong. So it says table, so I take those and put those face down in the table. Here's the desk, so I take and put those face down at the desk. All of them have that. There are some of them that have question marks. The question marks, there's a gold coin, and that just gives you 25 points at the end of the game. There's the 3 poisons. Each poison goes to a specific dignitary. So there's cyanide for the governor's wife. You'll notice it's blue, and if you look at the board, there's blue, and it's an oval, so that's probably to help if you're colorblind. The hemlock has a green banner, so that goes to the general. The arsenic goes to the baron, so that's red, and it's just a rectangle. And then you also have some other objects that have question marks. Here they are: monocle, handkerchief, stuff like that, and they all match the color of where they belong. So once you've put all of these in the place where they belong, so these go to the bar, these go to the coat, these go to the door. You have you put 2, you mix up these question mark ones, mix them up, and then you put 2 on each stack. Okay. Now you'll notice that my question mark ones were a little bit miscut. They got a white line on some of them. Not very nice. I just need to trim those off or put them in sleeves, put the cards in sleeves or something. Anyway, that's how you start the game. You have order cards here, and order cards have a number of points in the top right hand corner, and this is the orders you get from the head butler. So the head butler, the order cards come over here in the orders after they've been shuffled face down, and you can have one of those. Everybody starts with 1 at the beginning of the game. They're dealt 1, and if it's 10 points, it's one of these investigate or a hunch card, and it tells you a hunch. You can actually look at another player's order cards. If it's investigate, you can look at another player's item cards. Or if you don't play it by the end of the round, you get 10 points for holding on to it. All the other orders, they have a color and a shape in the upper left hand corner, and that is where the item is to be delivered to. So this goes to the general, this goes to the governor's wife, this goes to the baron, and it tells you what to get and where to get it. Actually, the lower value ones tell you exactly where to get something, but the higher value ones, like the 30-point ones, they just tell you to pick up something, but they don't tell you where it's at. And those are the question mark ones that we randomized. So you just have to look around until you find that item and then deliver it to the appropriate dignitary. But the lower ones are fixed on where they start, and you don't have to travel as far to deliver them. So that gets shuffled. You deal out one of those to each player. So we've got 4 players here, and you've got these character cards, identity cards here. They all have somebody's name on them, but one of them is red and is called the Miscreant Impostor. That is the person that's trying to poison the dignitaries. So what you do is, if there's 4 players, you take 3 normal white lettered servants and the red Miscreant Impostor. You mix those up and deal those out. And you look at them, but you don't show anybody else what you have. Then the rest of the orders go there. The rest of the identity cards go out of the game. Now, the things you can do, and remember, this is simultaneous play. You get to move 3 actions on each of your turns. So I find it kind of challenging to keep track of watching other players and making your moves and counting how many moves you have. So you might want to do stuff on your fingers, like, oh, if I'm playing red, I can move, and I can move orthogonal or diagonal, and that's 1 space, so I could go 1, 2, 3 or something. So you can move is 1 action. You can look at an item pile, and you have to be in the space where the items are at to look at it. So if I move there, that would be 1 action. I can look at the items at the desk as my 2nd action, and when I look in there, I can see that there's poison in there. Wow. So the Miscreant Impostor probably would want to make sure they check this pile out for sure. So you might want to watch who's coming over and looking in there, and if they take items from there, especially if both poisons are in that stack and somebody goes in there and takes 2 cards, ding ding, watch that person. You can look at the item pile, and you can take an item from the pile. It doesn't cost an extra action. You can look at a dignitary pile. So if you are in front of one of the dignitaries, you can look at those piles. And you can deliver an item to the pile, and that doesn't cost an extra action. So if you're delivering the monocle to the governor's wife, or whoever it was that gets the monocle, you actually get to look in that stack first, and you can notice things like, oh, that person's already been poisoned. I wonder who was just there, and start thinking about who you saw that has delivered things there. You can also get new orders, and you have to be at the middle spot, and you can draw an order card for 1 action. And you can have as many order cards in your hand as you want. However, you get -10 during scoring for each one you do not have complete. You do have a limitation on items. You can only carry 2 items. Okay? So let's take a look at the cards here. The card has the point value of the card. It has where it's going to be delivered, and it tells you where to get the item. But however, on the 30-point ones, it doesn't tell you where. Those are question mark ones, so you don't know where. You just have to look for them. On your turn, also, you can make sure you can play a hunch or an investigate card. That's not an action. It doesn't show it as an action in the rule book. So while you're simultaneously doing this, or when you're done with your turn, you can play that hunch card or that investigate card and look at somebody's hand. and then once you're done with that card, you discard the card. If you're playing the imposter, there's some things you want to do. You want to poison at least one dignitary. You want to complete orders if you can, because you get points for the completed orders also. You want to blend in with the other players. You don't want to stick out as doing things odd. You want to act like you're just another one of the butlers. And you want to spread rumors if you can. So one of the things that you probably would want to do is, if you had an investigate card in your hand, is to maybe play that on another player and look in their hand to try to throw people off that you're the miscreant imposter. And you might even then throw a rumor into the rumor mill after you've looked at somebody's hand to make other people think that, hey, you know, that person there is probably the miscreant imposter. You can throw any number of rumor tokens in the rumor mill on each turn that you want to. However, it does fill up, and it shows you how full. For a 3-player game, it's 6 rumors. For a 4-player game, it's 9 rumors. And you cannot play extras. So the rule book doesn't really deal with what happens if four people want to throw one in at the same time, but there's already 8 rumors in there, and there's only one more rumor that can be used to fill it up, and you've got 4 people that are trying to throw it in at the same time. Doesn't really deal with that, but it does say that you cannot put more rumors in here than what it takes to fill it up. So the round ends when the rumor mill is full or you run out of time. So every time you've taken 3 actions, you remove a time token. You take 3 more actions, remove a time token. 3 more actions, remove, and there's 10 of these things here. So if you run out of time tokens, the round is over. Or if the rumor mill fills up with the appropriate number of rumors, then the round is over. If the round is over based on rumors, then you have an accusation phase. If there were never enough rumors in the rumor mill to end the round, you ran out via the time tokens, then you do not have an accusation phase. So if you have an accusation phase, then what you do is everybody writes on the piece of paper who they're accusing, anybody who has rumors in the rumor mill. So that even happens for the miscreant impostor, because he wants to blend in, so he's going to write a name on the paper too. And then you score the round. And the way the round is scored is all completed orders score based on this number up here. Incomplete orders are -10 for each order that's incomplete. If you have an unused follow a hunch or an unused investigate, that's +10 for holding on to that. The gold coin, which is one of the question mark items, that's +25. There's only one of those, but remember, you have a limit of 2 items in your hand, so if you pick that up, you're going to be limited in the number of other items that you can carry. The miscreant impostor scores slightly different. He does score for his completed orders as long as he has poisoned 1 dignitary. And if he's poisoned 1, he gets 40 points, 2 is 90, and 3 is 150, plus the completed orders. If he hasn't poisoned anybody, then he doesn't get points for completed orders either. And when you're having the accusation phase, you get 20 points for every rumor token that you've placed in here. If you correctly guess who the miscreant impostor is, you get -10 for every rumor token. If you get the person wrong, the imposter doesn't score for his accusation at all. He doesn't get plus or he doesn't get minus, he just gets 0 points because he's supposed to do that. The imposter also, for the number of correct servants that accuse him, he gets minus 20 points for each servant that correctly accuses him, not for each rumor token, but for each servant. So in a 4-player game, if 2 of them accuse the correct person, he would get minus 40 points. And then the game ends after 3 rounds. So what I explained to you is 1 round, and then what you do is you take all of the identity cards back and all the orders back, and you completely reset the board, and then you start over. So you'll have a new Miscreant Impostor and all new orders, play over again, and so you accumulate the score after 3 rounds. And then whoever has the highest number of points after 3 rounds is the winner. Now the rules don't really talk about picking up incorrect items. You can pick up items that are not yours. You can go on Board Game Geek and read the forums in there, and I believe one of the designers said that that was okay to do. The rules don't really cover that, but it really changes the dynamics of this game. If you pick up, say, the cyanide and move it somewhere, then the Miscreant Impostor is going to go to looking for it, and it's going to be harder to find. It's in a random place to start with, so you're not going to know where it's at. But if you're holding on to it, then the Miscreant Impostor is not going to be able to find it. Or if you pick up the monocle and move it to a different space, then whoever's trying to deliver that is going to go to the space they think it's at, and it's not going to be there. So it really just going to change the dynamics of the game. But I guess according to the answers on the Board Game Geek, that's a way you can play this. It really changes it from, it becomes more chaotic, let's put it that way. So that's how you play the Amberden affair. I do want to explain to you the 2 penny games, which is who puts this out. 2 pennies, that comes from the Bible, where it talked about the poor woman who had 2 mites and gave it at the temple. So that's what they named this company after, and they are giving money towards orphans and widows charities when they sell games. So kudos to them for that. I would suggest that the next time they produce a game that they look for a professional graphic artist to produce the board and the box. I believe this was done by one of the designers. I wish them well. So tune into the Board Game Network for all of the Board Game Network videos, how to play, rules, unboxings, awards videos, top 10, all of that kind of stuff.